Uh, it's amazing to sit in a restaurant and celebrating my 13th restaurants. They've all been successful. And it came to pass that not long ago, as I was 10 years old, I became homeless. I had to climb on top of the public toilet to sleep on the roof and covering myself with a newspaper and a cardboard. Now this boy who becomes rich, famous, and successful businessman. And it seems I found myself in the same situations, earning all this money, living extravagant life, yet this emptiness had forced me to leave fortune and fame and become homeless again, but with a choice. I mean homeless in a way, externals homeless. Actually, it's internal homeless because I still have externally fame and fortunes, but it's no longer effective internally. So I seek reach. I went around the world and took lots of self-imposed isolations to find that true richness, which is internal and eternal richness, love. I have discovered that it's really necessary that you start loving yourself. How do you love yourself? When was the last time really you love yourself? And he said, well, I love myself. I love my smile. We can start externally. What do you like about yourself? Then this external satisfactions or happiness, it creates a calm. This calmness and bring a silence, and this silence becomes internal one way or another. So this internal happiness when you bring a calmness and joy, you naturally become more present. How to get to the present moment? We hear the lectures, we go to seminars, the books, and for 1,000 years and more, they've been speaking about how to live in a present moment. But what is really present moment? I personally have witnessed or observed very few people have ever really grasped and understood what is a present moment and what is a beneficiary of the present moment and what can we do to be present moment. So the easiest way and more simplest way to begin to feel the present moment is using the 5 senses. We all drink coffee, we eat, drink coffee, tea, we all drink and eat. Why don't you use the 5 senses in daily activity and to our advantage? Every moment when you wake up in the morning, before your mind is gone already outside and all the planning that you have to do or you're doing. So as you get out of the bed, be aware of the step you take into the bathrooms. Simple step to the shower. And when you're in the showers, be aware of these showers, hot waters or cold water falling on your body. It's instant joy. And then when you're out of the showers, you're getting out of the house, when you're touching that handle of the door to open a door, be aware of that moment. And when you're getting into the car, again one more time, make a task for yourself. When you touch handle of the car or the doors, be aware of that single practice of touching. And then when it comes to tasting, when you reach for a cup of tea, coffee or cold, be aware when you're approaching that drink to your lips, to your mouth. And again, be aware of sensations that's going down through your body. And we speak about listening, and really pay attention, even for a few seconds. Be aware, be completely attentive what you're listening to. And if you can do, you can hear your own voice as you speak. And these accumulations of the moment by moment, that directly contribute, immediately, to your happiness, to your joy, to your success in your positions, whatever position you're holding, business or self-realizations. And so this moment of awareness instantly contribute to your success, happiness, relationship, and self-realizations. So, and slowly this awareness that has no limitations, it would take you to this source, this source that is a source of everything, visible and invisible. And this source is, regardless of all the jealousy, attachments, conflict, and the fears, and possessiveness, and all the troubles you're going through, this source is forever in you. And it's just waiting to be flowered. How you do that? Being aware. I wonder sometimes, what can I tell you? How can I share with you that you use every single moment to your advantage? Whether you're cooking, washing dishes, or driving, or drinking, eating, playing, being aware. With this awareness, you can reach no limitations. And what language can I use, and what energy I can put in this simple message that you really practice with all your heart and all your mind. If you choose, if your desire is to go beyond all this suffering. And now, and the magnitude of single moment of awareness. If you, for example, if you had a conflict a few minutes ago and your mind is repeating that same conflict over and over, if you simply ask yourself, whatever happened a few minutes ago, how about now? How do I feel now? You can actually physically touch your body, your head, your mind, part of your body. Are you okay? I'm okay. So this simple moment of awareness reduces the stress, the intensity of the conflict you had a couple minutes ago. And each time you have this conflict that arises, and you do this, you ask yourself, how am I now? Am I okay? Physically, mentally, with your hands touching yourself, and you see that the calmness eventually penetrates in you. It's always been there. As I said, when the mind is not there, the love is there, the joy, the laughing is there. So, by letting go or putting aside the conflict you had a couple of minutes ago, that's what we're talking about now. From this moment, how I am. Again, next moment, and each time is again now. If you really can grasp the strength, what now can bring to you, how beneficial it is, you will practice it. Again, using 5 senses at the beginning. And slowly, as you go, become more aware, you start observing your thought. Detect a thought, isolate it, you choose to delete it. So isolate, detect, isolate, delete the thought that you like to unload or empty the mind. Do it now. If there's questions, I usually ask the in my retreats, the people, the friends and students around, what are you really looking for? The most of them would answer is looking for happiness and love, and real love. As you know, these days everyone is looking for a soulmate. and and they're all going in circles because they depend on the others. It's wonderful to love others and seek love from the others, but yet having internal love, it's the roots of the self-love. If you today you say I love you because you identify because you're happy. Your thought of happiness, you put in a thought of love, I love you. And 5 minutes later, when you're not in a good mood, you think opposite, which is I don't love you, or I hate you, or I'm angry at you. So is that really love? And if you just uncover put expectations, jealousy, attachments, and hate and angers and all the rest of it aside, the love is already there. And to do so, to put all these anger, resentment, attachment aside, one have to completely be awakened. How you get awakened? It happens. It happens when you start asking yourself questions. When you internally you're seeking changes, whether at work and partnerships, and everything around you becomes a sign of change. And this change is coming within you. And the absence of love in daily activity in people around us is a warning from the direct warning from the soul that to seek changes. And this changes, process of changing, that we call process of awakening or transformations or the self-realizations, would slowly guide you to the self-love. You start with yourself to love, then love expand to the others. The real love is not necessarily goes to a particular person, it's expand itself. And if you love today, as I said, you identify with the thought of the love, then next day you're identifying with the thought of the hate. So they all go side by side. How do you find a true love? You start by loving yourself. And how do you love yourself? To pay attention what makes you happy, and what is it that you are internally seeking. Because external love, as you have noticed and experiment, is impermanent. One way or another you're going to find yourself alone. So be aware and to take a journey inside and find out what is it that really makes you happy. What is it that really you call love? Can you hold your hands in front of you and tell and say really with no hesitations, with a full joy, I love my hand, I love my eyes, I love my body. And maybe, as I said, with this external love, you can go internal and be comfortable with yourself, just the way you are. As long as seeking external approval, acknowledgement and recognitions, you find yourself a slave of the others, and at the same as seeking love from the others. And you go in circles over and over until we realize you are the love. Anyway, to find a real love, ultimately you have to find love when you're completely your detachment, when you got your freedom, when you completely awakens, means totally detached from everything that you're living in. In this way, the sign is that you no longer attached by duality, negative and positive. You may mentally deal with it, but internally you'll be untouchable. Another way of really feeling love, and we're hearing always the oneness, is when you physically die. Everyone, with no exception, will feel real love after physical death. But very few have felt and experiment their love while they are living in a physical body. Means before you reach this state of freedom, there is a stage of the dying. You die physically, inwardly, not physically, but inwardly you die, and this numbness, this death, as the stage goes continue, there comes a stage of dying of desires. You can come easily overcome the emotions. You actually can detach from emotion as in happening, which is very, very few people able to detach from the emotions. So here's the stage of dying, and here's end, real love, that as I said, very few people will experience this while they're living in a polarity the world is presented. Okay? Not that duality shouldn't exist. As long as you live here, we are affected with negative and positive all the time. As I said, no one can escape the duality except those who are completely awakened and have completely detached from material and physical worlds. And the duality presents itself is bounce back. It simply cannot touch internals. How many times you get a bad news or news tragedy and you feel pain in your tummy or your abdomen or livers, kidneys or heart? We all have experienced that. But when it completely awakens, when the sign of the liberation is that liberator is no longer affected internally by external event, regardless of the extension and extremity of the event, tragedy. So the bottom line is, the best thing you can do now, be aware. I try to find a way to let you know the magnitude, the force behind being present moment, each moment at a time. Try to hear your voice. When you touch, when you smell it. That moment again contribute to the long-term happiness, long-term love, long-term success, long-term relationship. You can really experience a relationship when you are totally aware of the moment by moment. That is love. And I love you.